Positively Muskegon, Andy O'Reilly today down at the beautiful Hackley Park. I have got Pastor Mike Van Campen with me here today. And I want to talk about this mission you guys have got, this One Day with God. Now, I'll go back a little bit. I stumbled on this on Dateline, or it was a rerun or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were right here in Muskegon filming this event happening.
Yeah.
Tell me about One Day with God and the outreach you do.
Well, One Day with God is a ministry that takes place in local prisons. It's not a jail ministry, it's a prison ministry. So it's only for those inmates who are, going to be in prison for a few years.
Yeah.
And it's a family reconciliation event.
Okay.
Now, as soon as we say prisons, people immediately are there, oh my heavens, I can't do something like that.
Yeah.
I can't go behind the bars there. But the goal behind the ministry is to take the children of inmates behind bars for a day with their parent, with the incarcerated parents. Now there's 33 prisons in the state of Michigan, 32 of them are for the men, 1 for women, so that tells you what the incarcerated rate's like. So most of the events that we do are bringing the children of inmates behind bars for a day with their dad.
Yeah.
And we do some preparatory things with the dads first, because the fact is a lot of the dads don't have a great handle on what it means to be a dad.
I mean, and this is a generational thing. I mean, these guys have grown up in dysfunctional families.
A lot of them.
They end up in a situation where they have to be locked up for a while. And I'm not here saying that you do the crime, you do the time. I'm not saying that at all. But for me, when it comes down to the kids and breaking that cycle of that dysfunction, how do we change these generational problems that we've got going on? And if the kid doesn't have that support or that knowledge from their father, it's going to continue. That's, to me, I think, what draws me in about this.
Yeah. Well, the whole idea is that it's based on preparing the dads first.
Yeah.
So we spend, not only are the dads kind of selected through some different processes inside the prison, but then we spend an entire day with the dads before the One Day with God event.
Yeah.
So that the dads just have some time to talk about, so what's it mean to be a dad?
Yeah.
And there's a whole lot more to being a dad than fathering a child.
Is it scary for the guys in the prison when these kids come in to see them?
I'll tell you, there certainly are some guys who are, mature men who are shedding tears at the thought that my child is coming behind bars to see me. This is more than a phone consultation.
When you say shedding tears, is it embarrassment? Is it joy? Is it a combination of the two?
All of the above.
Yeah.
There's some nervousness in there. What if my child doesn't like me?
Yeah.
In some cases, the dads have never met their children before in person. Yeah. Wow. I mean, you're talking children 11, 12, 13 years old, some younger, but children that age who have never physically met their dads before. They've talked to them on the phone. There's some kind of connection. They know about him. But so there's a lot of kind of reluctance and what if my child doesn't like me? What if we don't get along? What if they start asking me questions that I really don't want to answer on this day? And you can tell from the moment they meet their child or the moment they're connected with their child, those dads are just pouring everything they can put into that child for that day.
That's all they got.
That's all they got. They got one day, because it starts about 10 o'clock in the morning, and at 5 o'clock in the afternoon we leave the prison.
Really?
And that is the hardest part of the day, is knowing that those kids are leaving. And some of those kids, they enter the prison and they're kind of, oh golly gee whiz, I'm here to see my dad for the day.
Yep.
By the end of the day, they're like, I don't want to go.
No.
I don't want to leave. I want to be with my daddy over here.
It's that natural connection.
You better believe it.
You can't get away from it.
You better believe it.
I mean, bars can separate you, but that's family.
It's family.
We're kind of DNA'd with all that,
Yeah. And the last kind of part of the day is just some kind of quiet time between the incarcerated parent and the child, just so they can be together and share whatever's on your heart with your dad for the day. And that is like, cool stuff.
Are these private moments, or do they have to
private moments?
Are they really?
Well, I mean, what happens as far as volunteers for the day is that we need volunteers to kind of staff the event inside the prison. We need volunteers to bring the children inside, because when you bring children inside a prison, you don't just bring them inside the prison and cut them loose for the day.
No.
They can't even be alone with their incarcerated parent, because some of the parents are there for reasons for which they can't be with the child.
Yeah.
So the mentors are never far away. The mentors are just kind of there for the day, but you learn how to give them enough one-on-one time while still maintaining some supervision of that child.
You bring up the mentors.
Yeah.
And I understand you're looking for some of these people.
Yeah.
Talk about the program and what it goes into becoming a mentor.
Well, the requirement for being a mentor is not all that steep. We're not looking for people that have any kind of prison ministry experience. We're not looking for people with social work backgrounds who can understand all the dynamics of the children and the families. We're just looking for people who want to see a child and an incarcerated parent reconciled for a day, for the sake of both the parent and for the sake of that child. And it's just a day that's kind of a low expectation day.
Sure.
We spend a whole lot of time inside the prison just kind of hanging out, letting dad and daughter or dad and son be together as a couple for the day. Or sometimes there are multiple children with the same father. We're just kind of there to facilitate it, but there's really nothing expected of us.
That's cool.
There's some training in advance, because when you go behind bars, you've got to know what's appropriate, what's not.
Sure.
Okay? I mean, every now and then somebody will want to bring their cell phone in, or they're going to want to bring their keys in, or, gee, you mean I can't bring a pocket knife in with me? Oh, what are you thinking? Are you kidding me?
I had the same problem in an airport. I had a little tool in the bottom of my bag that I found one time in an airport. And like, well, you want to keep it? And I'm like, no, get rid of it. I don't want to do this. But, you know, with, people like us, we don't stop and think about that kind of stuff.
That's right.
On a daily basis.
That's right.
You're offering some sessions for these trainings.
Yeah.
Talk about these.
Well, the sessions are coming up in the month of May, and the sessions are primarily just promotional events where we can bring some folks to the church, because the church is where we sponsor it from, out of Muskegon. This ministry actually takes place in 14 different states.
Yeah, it's big.
And we're trying to expand it in the state of Michigan, because we got 33 prisons in the state of Michigan. We'd love someday to cover all of them, because we know that lives get changed through this ministry. So the promotional events that we have are simply introductions to the ministry. We're going to show the Nightline video that you mentioned, and we're going to talk a little bit about the ministry and give people opportunities to respond to it. And those events are the 2nd and the 4th and the 10th of May, and they can contact the church for more information. We'll be happy to pass that information.
We'll put all the links here too.
You got
do that.
Great.
You know, I mean, it's just a little camera and everything. All that technology stuff. Got it. Totally got it.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Tell me about your church. You're at the
church I'm a part of is called Fellowship Church. We're down Apple Avenue, down a little bit past Mill Iron. So we're in a great location for ministering to the Muskegon prisons.
Yeah, and that's where the teen clothes basket is, or the kids clothes basket.
Kids belong.
Kids belong.
Yeah, you got it.
We're getting them all in here.
Yeah,
man.
there you go. Yeah, we got Kids Belong down there. You know, we've got the facility for it. I mean, it takes a pretty good sized facility to run that event.
Good place.
And we're located about 5 to 6 minutes away from the prison. And you got to be fairly close to a prison to get in and out of there over the course of the days. We know them. You know, there's over 4,000 inmates in the Muskegon prisons.
Unbelievable.
And a big percentage of those guys that are in there, it's all men's prisons, there's 3 prisons there, a big percentage of those guys are fathers. So that's a lot of families, many of them living here in the Muskegon area, that have an incarcerated parent, and that causes some brokenness. There's some dysfunction that goes with it. We want to deal with those families one family at a time. That's our
goal. Forgiveness.
You got it.
A little bit of thinking outside the box, getting these kids together to get rid of that dysfunction. It's a great thing.
I think one of the coolest moments I've ever had with one of these One Day with God events, and we're going to try to run about 2 to 3 of these per year, was a dad who was behind bars and was going to be there for a couple years yet, and his son was maybe 6 years old. And at the end of the day, you know, dad's right down on the level with his son, and I bet if he said it once, he said it 10 times. He says, buddy, this is not your fault. No. This is not your fault.
It's a big thing.
This is not your fault that I'm in here. And just for the child to hear that, to say, buddy, I love you. The fact that we can't be together right now throwing a baseball, that's my fault, not your fault. And for that child to hear that face to face with his dad,
even just
that's priceless.
Just the ownership of a mistake. That's all it takes to really turn things.
You know, it's one thing for a father to say to his child over the phone, you know, I love you. I love you. But for a father to say, you know, face to face, hey, we're in a lousy place right now, but I want you to know that I love you and I approve of you. I bless you. I'm here for you. Someday we're going to be in person again, but right now, you know, the fact that I'm behind bars doesn't mean I don't love you anymore.
Good stuff.
You know, we want to change those kids' lives. We want to change the inmates' lives too. We don't want them going back behind bars again. We want to give them a reason to live for out there.
Absolutely.
So
great work, man.
It's good stuff, man.
Mike Van Kampen. It is One Day with God. All the details will be right here on Positively Muskegon. Thank you for the work you do. We appreciate you taking a couple of minutes. Come on, join us today.
My pleasure, brother.
Absolutely.